welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is going to be the next installment in my palette of the week series. Now, when someone says something of the week, it clearly implies that it should be a weekly series, and I have double checked, and the first episode of this series went out 3 weeks ago now. So we're doing really well on the weekly front. I did actually try to film this video last week, but I wasn't super happy with it, so we are refilming it today. But I have been using this palette on and off over the last 3 weeks, so it still counts, and from next week, hopefully if things go to plan, from next week, we will start doing things properly again. So if you haven't seen the first episode, I will link it up in the cards for you guys if you want to check it out. What I've decided to do since being back at work is to actually try and use up some of my makeup collection, which has grown a lot over the past year. Not that I was wearing the makeup anywhere, but I still bought it. So what I'm doing at the moment is wearing one eyeshadow palette a week to work. Sometimes they're palettes that I haven't used in a while, others are going to be much more recent palettes, and that way at the end of the week or the following week, depending on how the schedule goes, because it is all up in the air at the moment, I will be showing you a look with this palette and giving you some thoughts on it. Maybe I've changed my mind, maybe I used to like it and now I don't, or the other way around. And I've already been talking for about 5 minutes, but this week's palette is the, I just hit myself in the face with it, the Beauty Bay New Romantic Palette. You guys have seen this one on my channel quite a bit already. I had a review, I've had a couple of other tutorials, and I wanted to come back to it this week because, I mean, look at this color scheme. It's very pink, it's very pretty. So again, I have already been speaking for far too long already, and I do have work today, so I do need to get a move on and actually get ready. So I'm gonna go and prime my eyes with my P. Louise base, and I'll be right back and we'll jump into the palette. All right, so my eye is now primed. We are ready to jump in. I'm just looking at my brow right now and really not enjoying the way it looks. I don't know why, but I really seem to be struggling at the moment. We've actually managed to stick the brow hairs at the end down, who knows? Anyway, again, completely digressing, this is not what we're here for. We're here for the Beauty Bay New Romantic, and I'm going to start off with a Morphe M456, and my first shade is going to be Claret, because it's the shade that I pretty much always use to start off makeup looks with this palette. I am going to run it through my crease. I don't tend to use the same techniques to apply eyeshadow when I'm getting ready for work as I do for YouTube, Instagram, or even for going out, just because, you know, I haven't quite got as much time. So I tend to go like this a lot more lightly rather than packing on and building up instead. And it seems to work. Also, I did mention this in my last palette of the week video, but I don't use my P. Louise base for going to work. I am today because I am filming this before getting ready for work, but I have been using my Maybelline Colour Tattoo in Creme de Rose and really enjoying it. It actually keeps my eyeshadow on like insanely well, really well. I keep bringing it up at the moment. I'm just so impressed when an older product is still as good as it was before. Anyway, again, completely off topic. So just slowly building up the color. I'm keeping it like just above my crease, but I'm really not trying to go too high. And then when I get to the end, pulling it out slightly. There we go, we'll leave it at that for now. Okay, and then just using the same brush, I'm gonna go into Smoothie next. And I'm kind of going, I guess, mostly on top, but blending out ever so slightly. I'm really not trying to take this eyeshadow up too high right now. Just again, slowly building up color. And when it comes to doing my makeup every day, I do also tend to reuse the same brushes like I am here, just because otherwise it's too many brushes to clean, and I don't always have time to wash them in between, so then I run out of brushes, so I keep it pretty minimal. Okay, I am gonna switch brush now. This is a Morphe M514, and I've gone into Flamingo, and again, really not trying to take this up too high, just building up the colors and giving myself a softly blended edge. Brush is a little bit fluffier than I would like it right now because I washed them yesterday, and I do have all these brush guards, like just these plastic things that I got off Amazon, and it helps keep them reshaped, but I only put it on like less than an hour ago, so it's not quite had the desired effect yet, but we will live. Okay, so now that I've blended that out, I'm going to go back into Claret and I'm going to pack that on the outer portion at a diagonal. And I am being really careful to tap off my excess every time I pick the colour up. These Beauty Bay palettes are very pigmented and I wouldn't normally recommend doing your foundation first. I would do it afterwards. I know for a fact I'm going to get a lot of fallout. It's just a little bit easier for me to do foundation first with these videos. So yeah, I'll just have to deal with it, but in general I would not recommend doing your eyeshadow after your base. So now I'm just running claret back through my crease as well, deepening it up. Then next back into smoothie and just blending out again. Just really trying to get a nice seamless blend. It's not one where you're really going to see the difference between all the shades because they are quite close together, but it should just look nice and smooth and seamless. And then again with Flamingo. You know what, actually, I would normally use that brush, but I'm going to switch to a clean M456 and take some more Flamingo, only because the brush is out of shape right now, and I feel like it might start pushing the colour upwards a bit too much. Okay, so I'm going to leave the matte shades here. We're going to move on into the metallics, and I feel like that's where a lot of people have maybe not enjoyed this palette as much as previous one. They felt like the metallic shades maybe weren't quite the same as they were in the Book of Magic or the Sunset Horizons. I personally think they are really beautiful. I don't know if maybe they've been pressed a bit harder than in previous palettes, because I do feel like you have to dig. And because we're going to have to do a lot of digging, we're going to get some fallout. So I am going to start by putting down a base with my NYX glitter primer. I don't necessarily feel like they need it. It's just more to avoid any extra fallout, or try to. I mean, I know I'm gonna have fallout. It's just an attempt. I'm gonna take my Morphe M224 and I'm gonna pop that all over that space in the middle. And then I'm going to take a Morphe M166 and I'm going to take the shade Royal, which is a gorgeous purple. And I'm really going to press it down into the glitter primer, and immediately I have fallout. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, how beautiful is this shade of purple? I think it might be one of my favorite shades in the palette, and I kind of wish there was also a bit more of a matte purple and maybe a metallic pink. I like the variety of colors in this palette. I do think it's really versatile, even though you have this very set color family. I feel like you can get a lot out of it, but I would change a couple of things, and one of them would be adding more of a matte purple and a shimmery pink. I'm just gonna take my M456 again that I used for claret. I haven't added any extra product. I'm just gonna blend that in so we don't have a harsh edge. And then I am just going to take my other M456 just at the front. It's looking a little bit unblended. There we go. And then just to blend into claret at the back, I'm taking a Morphe M124 and the shade Valentine. And I'm going to pop it right on the transition, just to darken things up a little bit. Right, I'm just going to try and get rid of that fallout a little bit. I never manage to get rid of fallout, to be fair. I'll just have to remove what's there in photos when I get to the editing stage. Right, so I'm going to go back into a matte eyeshadow now, and I need an angled brush. I'm going to take the Spectrum A24. It's technically an eyebrow brush. It has a spoolie on the other end, but it is a really nice, thin and precise liner brush, basically. I'm going to take the shade Saddle, and I want to add a graphic shadow element to the look. So I'm going to come and kind of almost stamp it on in the wing. So just following the arch at the top, and then I'm also going to do it on this side. And then I'm just going to try and blend it inwards a little bit. And then on the inside, I'm going to take my M456 again, the one that I used for claret. Just come and soften things up a little bit. And then get it nice and precise on the outside. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish up the lower lash line now, and I wanna try and keep it pretty minimal, just a lot smaller. I don't want anything going too low down. So I'm gonna take my Morphe M508, and I've picked up some more of claret, and definitely getting fallout here. I'm gonna do about the outer third, I think, and just try and connect it back up. And then on the center, I'm gonna go into smoothie. And then I'm just gonna blend backwards again, just to try and make sure it's all connected up. And then at the front, flamingo. Just gonna take that M456 again, the cleaner one of the two, and I'm just gonna blend underneath a little bit right here, just making sure that it's nicely connected up basically. Then to brighten up the inner corner, I'm gonna take the shade Oyster on my Nanshi tapered crease brush. I'm just gonna pack it on, and then I'm gonna bring it into the lid a little bit, just to layer the purple with the gold. And then I'm just going to come in with a little bit more of saddle and draw in an extension. That way that just matches it up to the back of the eye a little bit. For my waterline, I'm just going to pop on the Barium High Vis eyeliner in Riot. I'm just gonna quickly go and do my lashes off camera, and then I'll come back so that we can finish the rest of the face. All right, so I've got my lashes on now. They're not gonna stay on after filming this video. I'm not gonna be wearing them to work. I'm gonna do my blush next, and I thought what would be quite nice to tie everything in together is use one of the shades from the palette. I think that is what's really nice about this one, because it is quite a lot of pinks and warm tones. You really can use this palette for cheek stuff. I'm so eloquent sometimes, it hurts. Anyway, I am going to take the shade Smoothie, I think, and I'm going to take the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH06 brush. I think it's a really, really nice brush for using with eyeshadow. I feel like sometimes some brushes don't pick it up quite right, don't deposit it quite right, but the shape of this one is so nice. It works really, really well. Obviously got some texture on my cheek that is causing issues right now. I'm also gonna bring it up in the temple. And then I think I'm also gonna take a little bit of flamingo, and that's gonna go a bit more at the front, just to give it a bit of dimension. And again, I'm gonna bring it up here. Definitely, you know, casual makeup for work. Just a little bit of light blush. And then I'm also gonna take flamingo on the nose. Just gives me a bit more colour. For my highlighter, again, I want to tie it back into the eyes. I want something that's got a little bit of gold that's going to match up to Oyster, but I don't want to use Oyster as a highlighter. It's not going to work. It's too dark for me. So I'm going to go into my Soph highlighter palette with Revolution. It is an absolute state. I'm going to take this shade and mix it in with some of the pink. I think that should tie in quite nicely. You know, I bought this palette and I was actually a little bit disappointed by it at the beginning. I didn't feel like I ever got a really nice blinding highlighter. And for ages I wondered if I had like a defective palette, because when Soph used it, she had an amazing highlighter. Make Me Up Missa's got it, she gets a really blinding highlighter, but for ages I couldn't. And I genuinely think I was just using the wrong brush. I think I was using a fan brush maybe with it at the time, and it just didn't work for me. But now I use this Peaches and Cream one, this is the PC17, I get a really nice effect with it. So if a highlighter isn't working for you, try a different brush. And then to highlight my brow bone, I'm also going to take the pink again, but this time I'm going to mix it into the white. Just come and pop that on up here. And I haven't done my lips and my nose, and I think I'm going to use that combo again. I don't want to use the gold on my nose. I feel like it might give me a bit more of a cast. Perfect, so that just leaves us with lips. I feel like I need something that matches. I feel like I want a little bit of a monochromatic moment going on. The MUA Velvet Matte Liquid Lipstick in Devotion. I think that should work quite nicely. Oh yeah, that's a really good match. I know they released liquid eyeshadows with this collection, which I did buy, but they're not my favourites. I wish instead they'd released some lipsticks. Have lipsticks that exactly match some of the shadows, so maybe one to match claret, one to match one of the browns, one to match one of the lighter shades. I think that would have been really fun. I mean, I also have been the person that's been like, why are brands releasing lipsticks in the pandemic? We're all wearing masks, it doesn't make sense. But I feel like with this collection, it would have really worked. Okay, yeah, that is a really nice match. I'm really here for it. If I could not get it on my teeth, that would always be a bit more helpful. And then I'm just gonna set everything in place with my I Heart Revolution fixing spray. This is the vanilla and coconut one. Alright guys, here is the finished look. I hope as always that you like it. I am really here for these winged out looks at the moment. I feel like they're really impactful, but for me they feel kind of minimal as well. Like, they're not minimal. There's obviously still a lot going on, but compared to like taking the colour all the way up to my eyebrows, that kind of thing, I feel like this is a more toned down version of me, but still really impactful. But I'm really here for it at the moment, and I have really enjoyed playing with the new Romantic palette over these last few weeks. Like I said, I think that this is a really versatile palette. Even though you do have that very defined colour family, it's clearly a warm toned palette. I feel like there is a lot that you can do with it. I can understand why people maybe don't enjoy it as much as some of the previous palettes in this format from Beauty Bay. The Book of Magic for me is the better one out of these two. It's just a colour scheme that I think is more me generally, but I by no means think that this is a bad palette. I think the mattes blend out really well, and I think the issue that people probably have with this one is that the metallics feel a lot more dry, and I can see why people maybe don't enjoy them as much, but I think they're still really beautiful and still really impactful. If you're hesitating about this one, these palettes from Beauty Bay are just such brilliant budget options. You guys hear me say that all the time, and if you can get this one on sale, which their products are on sale literally all the time, like, why pay full price for their products when they go on sale as often as they do? I think if you want a palette in this colour scheme, you're on a budget, if you can get it on sale, I do still think it's really nice. I really like it. It's not going anywhere in my collection. It's not getting decluttered anytime soon. So that is it for today's video, guys. As always, if you enjoyed it, then do please make sure that you give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of it. And if you haven't already, then do please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye, guys.